All right. You guys want to talk about nuts less and talk about inequality more? Specifically in regards to PragerU and how they will decide and bestow upon us the answer to who the real inequalities are, like who the people are that experience the inequality. You want to learn about real inequality, son? Well, pop on over to Papa Jakku's lap here, and let me tell you about the inequality we should worry about by PolicyEd, which is a sort of a PragerU subsidiary, I believe. Someone said PragerU involved with it. I could be wrong here. Could be the other video. Anyway, this guy's basically the rich. The rich are the real victims. You'll see. Want to make it true, bitch? Ooh. Ooh. Here we go.
It seems every day a new report warns us of the dangers of rising inequality.
Rising inequality.
We are told that a widening wealth gap will ultimately mean fewer economic opportunities and more corruption in our political system.
Yes.
The answer, according to many, is a dramatic increase in taxes on the rich.
Now, let me tell you, as a rich man, I don't want that.
But before we make significant policy
Not me, by the way. I'm not rich, but I'd like to be. Please tier 3 sub.
changes, we should ask whether the inequality we observe is good or bad. That might sound peculiar. After all, isn't all inequality bad?
Yes.
Let's consider two figures of 20th century American history. In the early 1940s,
in the early 1940s, when the tax rate on the rich was like 90%. Okay.
Texas congressman defended the budget of the Federal Communications Commission. In return for his support, an FCC official suggested the politician have his wife apply for a license for a radio station in the underserved Austin market. She did so, and within a few weeks, magically, the FCC granted her permission to buy the license from the current owners. She then applied for permission to increase its time of operation from daylight hours only to 24 hours a day and at a much better part of the AM spectrum. And again, the FCC granted her permission within a few weeks.
Okay.
The commission also prevented competitors from entering the Austin
He's getting to the point
market.
here.
That congressman was Lyndon B. Johnson.
And everybody clapped. So Lyndon B. Johnson is being used here because he's an old person. And not that you should give a shit on who Lyndon B. Johnson is, but here's a little recap on Lyndon B. Johnson, okay? If you don't know who that is. Lyndon B. Johnson, and you should know, but some of you might not. Lyndon B. Johnson was the vice president of John F. Kennedy. You know, the one that, the one... that guy. You know the one. He didn't have his head about him. Anyway, Lyndon B. Johnson was there. Then he was president after that. Then he got reelected, of course. There was he is famous for proliferating the Vietnam War, for example. He was a Democrat, of course. He is also famous for, and this is 100% true, Lyndon B. Johnson's dick was apparently humongous. And so, this is not a joke. So he apparently would have people come over to the White House or, wherever they were meeting at, and he would take the opportunity to often, like, for instance, be in a hot tub and meet someone in a hot tub, and then then get out of the hot tub with his dick hanging out as a way to intimidate people, because apparently it was intimidatingly big. So he had a big pee-pee. He did that to a female reporter once, I believe, which was told to me as a funny haha joke. And as I age and learn things, it becomes a scary form of sexual harassment, but that's okay. It was called Jumbo, right? Yes, it was. It was called Jumbo. Yes, this is 100% real. So Lyndon B. Johnson, not the greatest guy ever, to say the least, but old guy here, who whatever this guy's fucking name is, already forgot. It doesn't matter. He kind of looks like vaguely related to Richard Dreyfuss, which, if you don't know who Richard Dreyfuss is, it really doesn't matter. Old guy here is saying that because he's old and he remembers the 1960s and Lyndon B. Johnson. You don't. You weren't there for that. So he's trying to, this is like a little dig at the Democrats.
The FCC's special favors made him and his wife very rich. By the time he ran for president in 1964, the radio station accounted for over half of his and his wife's $14 million net worth.
So this is supposed to be like, and he's about to give an example of a situation where I did skim this to see if it was worth content. I usually don't do that, although I haven't watched much further than this. I only know the next example, so I don't know what he's going to finish with. But the next example of this is going to be a guy who invented something and made some money off of it. And he's going to say, like, that guy that invented something was obviously more good than Lyndon B. Johnson and his wife, who made a bunch of money off of using their influence to gain capital. To which I say, but isn't that the goal of capitalism? Didn't he do a good capitalism? Why are you mad at him for doing that? Like, I mean, I agree. I agree that it's shitty, but not for the same reason. I think it's shitty because he was a fucking. Now, this was in the 40s when he did it, so I don't know what he was doing then, but I think he was obviously a member of Congress. I don't like the idea of him being a congressperson and then making money off of his deals, because that's a bureaucracy, and I don't want that, and that's not good. Quinn the Gay is NB, thanks for the prime. You're beautiful. No, you are beautiful. Yeah, he would call it crony capitalism. So this is the thing, though. That's just capitalism. You're only bitching about capitalism because Donald Trump has done easily more than that. Easily. And I would wager a guess that maybe these people support Donald Trump. I'm tossing that out there. Or maybe literally any other Republican. Any of them. Like, what's his name? Lindsey Graham came out recently in support of climate change and said, like, oh, climate change is real. I mean, do you think Lindsey Graham has no money tied up in green energy suddenly? I guarantee you he will find a way to make money off of green energy and will use his platform to try and help himself gain money off of green energy. Now that he has accepted it as a thing when it wasn't monetarily convenient for him to do so in the previous 20 years when he could have made drastically good policy changes just for the ethical reason of we need a planet to live on, you know? Oh. Is the answer LBJ pushed for and signed the Civil Rights Act? LBJ did so cynically, to be fair. LBJ wanted black votes. He didn't really want black liberation. You know what I mean? You know. Anyway. LBJ was
the second man is Robert McCullough.
But he's also one of my favorite presidents because he's so fucking brazenly shit. Not favorite from like a, ooh, I respect this person. Favorite from like just the stories that you can tell about LBJ. He's really good content. As a history guy, I just really, really enjoyed it.
He became prominent in the late 1940s when he invented a light one-man chainsaw that made him quite rich.
Okay, can we talk about the fact that the guy that made the chainsaw and invented the single-handed chainsaw has a weirdly shaped body, but I really like his fit? Like, I assume this is like blue or red or something. This is kind of a fit here, man. Little skinny pleated khakis, a little high waist. You know, little wingtip. I fuck with it, man. A little drip action here. He just needs a little gold chain hanging out in the sauce over here. Now, Peggy, or whatever the fuck her name is, could use a little work on her drip. I mean, he is blasting that shit. But I mean, in the reverse way, this is how Sarah and I walk around. I look like the schlub, and Sarah looks all pretty and shit. So I mean, like, I'm not the most fashionable guy ever. I'm just saying, like, I can respect it when I respect it. I don't have to fucking take part in it. I can be a hypocrite. It's fine.
So rich, in fact, that he famously bought the London Bridge and had it shipped to Arizona. McCullough's success increased the gap in wealth between him.
No, it's not about how we look physically with our bones. I mean, like, literally, I'm just not stylish.
And the non-wealthy, but his customers also benefited from a new tool that made their lives much easier.
So the guy who invented chainsaws is an example of good inequality. I don't really like. He earned a bunch of money for that. What is that? What is that? I don't understand. Like, is that okay?
The moral difference between Robert McCullough's wealth and Lyndon Johnson's wealth couldn't be clearer.
Well, it'd be the ethical difference since it was applied, but that's fucking not relevant. It's fine. I'm nitpicking. I mean, I guess, but like, wouldn't you argue? Okay, all right. Let's go with Jeff Bezos as an example. There is no reason that Jeff Bezos needs the wealth that he has, and he absolutely did not generate the wealth that he has accrued over the course of time. He could get rid of most of his wealth and still have $1 billion and never want for anything, neither would his family for maybe ever, like really ever, just down the line. $1 billion does a fucking lot of things forever and ever. How is what Lyndon B. Johnson's wife did with the FCC contract different from, like, literally any other way a high-ranking capitalist in society makes their money? It's always about the people you know and making deals, right? Here's a thing that I have learned as a guy with, I don't even have a lot of money. I am barely middle class. We are middle class people. I just live under my means quite well. Please tier 3 sub. Get me to upper class, chat. You're all invited to the pool party if that happens. Sorry, my eyeball hurts. Like, is it unethical for a congressperson to put support in for a bill that will help the FCC, and in return, that congressperson gets a favor from the FCC? Is that ethical? No. Is it capitalism? You betcha. I mean, it's just like literally the most normal capitalism thing ever, right? Like, this is just like, it's just like super common. Like, what? I don't know. I don't even know how you just, like, don't understand that. Connable, I'm very excited for your Sailor Moon bikini. I was just about to say send us pictures, and then it sounded like I was soliciting you. So I didn't, but then I did. But only as like anyway, whatever. All this means taxing the rich is bad. I guess. I don't know. Let's see where he goes with it.
By using his government connections, Johnson became quite wealthy, but at the expense of consumers, who were left with fewer options for radio stations.
Wait. Couldn't you also argue as a capitalist that because she expanded the amount of airtime that the thing had and expanded it to a better frequency that more people had access to, that it helped consumers of the products that they sold within the airwaves of that? Like, if I can steel man that position as a capitalist, you fucking can. Like, what? Like, what? I don't understand that. You literally said out loud that it improved the experience of users of the radio station. Like, I don't understand. Is it unethical? Yes, but is it egregious? I mean, not relative to fucking any other politician, really. He said it was an underserved area. I know, right? So they just expanded it into an area that needed the thing. Here's the cop again. What's up? Wait, are you actually a cop? Oh, I guess we'll never find out because I timed you out again.
McCullough's wealth, by contrast, was a byproduct of an invention that benefited many. Of course, neither story is unique. There are still those who benefit by seeking special government favors at society's expense. But more important, there are thousands of entrepreneurs. Each one's success increases wealth inequality, but also improves the well-being of tens of millions of people.
Oh, it's the benevolent billionaire shit. Oh, okay. Chat, here's a question, okay? All right. Would you rather, this is the question, okay? Would you rather that Jeff Bezos had $300 billion, or whatever the number is? Would you rather Jeff Bezos had $300 billion or and was able to provide people with the Amazon jobs they currently have? Or would you rather that the profit that Amazon made was more evenly spread out among the workers because they are part of the generation of that profit? What do you think? What do you think? And we'll leave Jeff $1 billion, right? Wait a second. Are you saying that if you worked for Amazon, you would want a cut? Wow. That's communism. A little bit. Mostly it's democracy. Don't you like democracy? Wait. Why do we suddenly not like democracy once we sell our bodies? And it's literally what you're doing. You're selling your body. Whether it's your mind, whether it's your muscles, whether it's your bones, whether it's your blood. You're selling your brains and bones, or brains and muscles and brains, or something like that. What did you say? You're literally selling that per hour. Why would you not want a say in how that goes? Absolutely amazing that you wouldn't want a say in that. Doodle bird. Wait. We sell our bodies, but then sex workers gasped. Exactly. Just a sneaky little tad of communism. It's not even really communism, to be honest. It's really just way better capitalism. Because it's still capital. You know what I mean? We're just sharing it. Because we made it that, right? Did you know that we don't have to put up with robber barons? Not a thing we have to put up with. We could just collectivize and do the thing. Like, does anyone think that Jeff Bezos and Amazon are the only people that can do Amazon stuff? Of course not. Amazon has 800,000 employees. 100 billion divided by 800,000 is about $125K an employee. Imagine if Amazon employees made $125,000. Do you think you'd show up to work healthier, happier, and God dang it, a little better at your job, a little more efficient at your job if you made $125,000 doing it? Productivity would go up. Plus, you could all tier 3 sub. And that would make my job better, too. And I would be more efficient. Imagine me being efficient.
And as other competitors enter the market, they drive down prices and make consumers even better off. Indeed, Yale University economist and Nobel Prize winner William D. Nordhaus has estimated that only 2.2% of the gains from innovation are captured by the innovators.
Okay.
The rest goes to consumers.
Wait, the rest of gains? Just gains? In what way is that applied? Purple Nickel, thanks so much for the 3 months at tier 1, dude. Who gains from innovations? You gain 97.8% of gains. You gain it, chat. What is this? I don't fucking know. What are you gaining? Who knows? Gains could mean anything. I guess we're gaining it. Hell yeah, dude. Consumers get lower prices? Is that what this is saying? So innovators pay 97.8% more? Because that's not what these numbers without any context makes no sense, which means in context they probably are against previous point. This is not a gain. It just makes sense.
In short, there is indeed a distinction between good and bad inequality.
Is there?
Entrepreneurial innovation that improves the lives of consumers is good.
Is that good inequality? Wait, what?
Using political muscle to become wealthy is bad.
Did this motherfucker vote for Trump?
Government policies that fail to distinguish between good and bad inequality will reduce innovation, weaken the economy, and ultimately give people more reason to seek special favors from the government.
Wait, what? This didn't address inequality whatsoever. Here's the good inequality. It what? This is not what people talk about when they talk about inequality. The wealth gap is not about two rich people being rich differently. You fool. Like, inequality is not this rich person is rich for a different reason than this rich person. What? The fucking... What do you mean protected content? What are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you doing? He's too rich to understand what inequality means. We've had a lower entrepreneurial rate, though, under conservative policies. Most people with the ideas can't command capital, see their ideas through. You know what else is bad about that is that the tax rate on people that aren't employees is much higher. You are disincentivized from owning a business because you pay a higher rate being self-employed than you do if you were to be employed. This is fucking weird, right? Wouldn't you say that that like someone that's making a business should pay fewer taxes? Not a lot fewer, but just like pay fewer taxes. I mean specifically on their cut of profit at a certain rate, like a normal, like imagine you make $30,000 as an employee or $30,000 as like a contractor. You take home less than you would if you were a straight up employee. I'm not saying like a millionaires, right? Millionaires obviously pay more, but I'm just saying like in the same brackets they pay more for the same amount of money. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like why? What's the point? Unless you itemize the shit out of it, which is a lot of the reason that small business owners like write off a bunch of shit on their taxes that aren't necessarily things they have to write off, because our tax system is made to be super fucking complicated so that people like Intuit and TurboTax can make a fucking load of money because they lobby the government to keep the tax codes really complicated. But it shouldn't be that. It should literally be very simple. How much money have you made? $30,000. All right, you don't owe any taxes. How much money have you made? $100,000. Okay, you owe, I don't know, $10,000. It's like 10%. Probably more than that, but I'm just saying, like I'm not in the place to do math right now, bro. But like, I don't want to be taking much from these people. This is the reason most people get refunds back, because you get overtaxed, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we owe you money, bro." It's like, why is that? What do you mean you fucking owe me money? You owe me healthcare, bro. Like, what? Anyway, that's the end of that rant. Corn button. Above 80K per year, money stops affecting you the same way it does below. So for business people, it becomes about getting the high score. Yeah, it really does. So, for instance, I've talked about this before. I'm not in that bracket. I'd like to be, and I could be if we continue to work at this. But I have, I have a house, and I have, my little family, and I have debts and stuff I got to pay off, and because I was impoverished forever, and the system doesn't like you if you're poor, so we have to stack on aspects to your life debt if you are poor, because that's how it works. But I'm chipping away. But we talked about this eventually. Like I'm not gonna need for stuff at a certain point. If we just if I can pay off this house and pay off some other bills and stuff, like at a certain point, I'm just fine, right? And so we were talking about it, and if you're new here, you might not have been part of this conversation. But at a certain point, I would like to, because I live in a city with double the national poverty rate, and so food insecurity is a huge issue here. I am fortunate enough, due to the fact that I have this dope fucking job, and have just been in situations before. I have some aptitude for some things, and while I have been very, very poor, I've only had a few instances, like short stretches or medium stretches, where I was like, oh, I don't know where we're gonna get food for a while. Like I've never gone like a year without knowing where food's gonna come from, because I've always had at least a person. Like I could always go to my mom. I could always go to, I've had friends, or I worked at restaurants a lot of the time, so food insecurity was hit less because I could mitigate that with food from where I worked, right? And that's not the case for everybody. And so the goal of my life at this point, like my next major goal, is to hopefully, obviously pay off all my debts, and then once all that's squared, and life is comfortable, which I mean is years down the road, but still, the ultimate goal, or it might not be years, if we can like I don't know, like if Flash in the Pan happens and we suddenly are like in the 5,000 sub range, at any point, like that's just fucking loads of money. That's so much fucking money, dude. 3,000 subs would be a fucking lot of money. And so at a certain point, I want to address food insecurity here, and we were thinking about starting a weed co-op, because weed is legal in my place. We could grow weed and use that as a co-op, and then use that money as well to fund jobs in the space. We could also make a community garden. We could set up a they do these things in India and other places, but I've seen this in India specifically as a big part of their culture, where they have like communal sort of like say in your neighborhood you have 100 houses, and of those 100 houses, maybe half, roughly 40% in my city, might be likely food insecure. What you do is, if you're food insecure, you give me $5 a week for your whole family, or whatever. Not me, but like the apparatus through which this would work, the food kitchen. $5 a week, or whatever the price would be. Something cheaper than your groceries, for sure. Definitely cheaper than going out. And every single day, that place drops off a hot meal to you and your family. It's like $5 per person, I think, or maybe it's like it's cheaper there, obviously. Just due to the currency exchange, but whatever the price would be, it's basically a food subscription service that's low cost, and is basically, it runs pretty much at cost, like it's not for profit, and it's just enough so that you can buy, and it would work also with donations and stuff, so you could try to get more nutrition. You'd have a nutritional and obviously food safe. I've been Serve Safe certified before for food safety, multiple occasions, like 3 separate times. It's not hard to do. You get other people involved. You get a kitchen that's safe and up to food quality. And anyway, basically, you can make sure that people around have food. You can also set up food pantries and stuff, but a lot of people are too proud to go to these things. But you're not too proud to pay a small fee for a delivery order. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from a psychological standpoint, people, especially Americans, we do not like asking for help. We are. It's so stigmatized. It's so. I mean, it's literally looked down upon in many social circumstances, even poor communities. They're like, well, I don't need food stamps. We're guilted. I said I didn't need food stamps for a long time. I was like, there's someone worse off. I had 18 cents in my bank account. I ate a potato and a piece of like a thin slice of Spam in a packet that I got from my mom as a joke once. It's all we had in the house. I've told this story before, but I just remember that as a formative, like, poverty moment. Like, me and my girlfriend, we ate a single potato and a piece of Spam, and I made like a hash. It was delicious, by the way. We made like a hash, and that was what we did. We ate. That's what we ate that night. And we were like, I don't have any fucking money till Friday, and that was like a Wednesday or something. And I was like, well, tomorrow I work. I'll go and I'll bring food home Thursday, and then Friday I'll get paid and we'll go grocery shopping. And that's what we did, right? We made it. She had a job too. It's like, and we made it. But I mean, I can't be the only person that has experienced this kind of shit. Like, and I know I'm not, and I know I'm not even one of those people that experienced the worst part of that. Now, I've been in some situations before where it's been even worse than that, but I mean, not, and only in my adult life, not as a kid growing up, it wasn't really ever that bad. I grew up very comfortable, actually. It's just that after my parents got divorced and I moved out on my own at like 17, I was just like, the world's rough out there. We need help, but I feel like we could address that. Anyway, so that's kind of the idea. The logistics are brutal for that stuff. If you don't have any experience in it,